This is a multi-part question. And we start with, oh, excuse me, yes?
Excuse me, Al, could you read the name or have the person that submitted the questions?
Certainly, I can do that. But let me, it is a multi-part question, and we're starting with Sheriff? No, Brian, okay. Marcy Egan?
Yes.
These are your questions. The question is, what would you do to streamline the budget?
Streamline the budget would have to go into very, sitting down and actually doing some number crunches and stuff like that to where see what we could do and could not use. As far as more to streamline the budget, I would focus on the subject we talked about with the jail housing out of county. That would probably be one of my biggest concerns on streamlining the budget to kind of get that situated to get a bigger expansion on the ditch.
The second part of the question is, right now, $184,000 is spent on equipment, okay. Part-time,
You want me to read it?
it says, yes, can you remember? It says something and then it's part-time salaries, and then,
Part-time salaries and overtime.
no, overtime is $300,000. All right, so it's $184,000 for part-time salaries and equipment, and $300,000, $330,000 in overtime.
Well, as far as whenever it goes to like, as far as equipment and overtime stuff, I don't think there's any room to play because, I mean, you gotta have that equipment. I mean, whenever you're out on a job or a case or a call, that I understand watching your hours and stuff like that, but whenever you get into like the case and stuff like that, if you have someone in custody, you have to proceed with that case until you exhaust your end and stuff like that. And I feel that those are numbers you can and cannot play with, but I think they're pretty much set where they can. I mean, because you can't expect overtime just at a certain number. Well, as far as equipment, you can look and project possibly what you may need and stuff to better prepare for the budget and streamline like what you was talking about. But as far as the overtime, I don't think that that's much room to play with.
Hold on, you got a third one. Vehicle mileage has jumped from 57,000 to 187,000. Can you explain why that's possible?
Not mileage, main vehicle costs. They budgeted 56,000 a year and then it jumped to 187,000, I think it is.
The way it says, equipment vehicle has jumped from 57,000 to 187,000.
It'll go up next year too. Go ahead.
But on that one, I basically can't explain that. The only thing I can think of would be the amount of vehicles purchased to replenish the old vehicles that are going rotation out of stock.
Can you read the question again, please?
What will you do to streamline the budget?
Okay, as far as the equipment, if we need it, we need it. I'd like to look into maybe getting as many grants as possible. Our tax money's already paid that money, so I'd like to get some of that back. It's ours, so if we can get the grants and not have to pay for the equipment twice, that would be great. What's the second part?
$184,000 for equipment and part-time salaries and $330,000 for overtime. Equipment and vehicles have jumped from $57,000 to $187,000. Why?
Okay, as far as the overtime and stuff, like Mr. Carpenter said, if you're working on a case, you have to continue that until you get finished with it. So there's going to be some overtime. I'd like to look into where the overtime is going, see if it's actually going where it's supposed to, but otherwise you're going to have some overtime. And as far as vehicle maintenance, I know the cost of maintaining a vehicle goes up just about every year. You got to put oil in them, you got to pay people, people get raises. Parts are very expensive right now, but I would like to maybe look into cutting that if we can. But again, stuff goes up, so you got to pay for it.
Okay. First question is streamline. How do you streamline it? One of the things that I do as a sheriff, and when I put a budget together and I work with my command staff to come up with that budget, I've got 5 men and a county manager, as 5 commissioners and a county manager and a finance director that goes through that budget like a fine-tooth comb. And so I have to fight for everything that we get. And just because I ask for it doesn't mean that we actually receive that. And so everything about my budget is picked apart. It goes before the county commissioners, it goes before public. So there's not any more that I can do with my budget than what we're doing now. We've got a lot of areas that we are rock bottom on. There's not always equipment that my officers need. We ask for it. Every one of my officers will tell you that there's things that we need that we don't have. Unfortunately, if you don't have it within the budget, you can't get it. And so the second part of the question, if I answered all of that right, the second part of the question was our vehicles. Can't imagine, can't expect that number to not be a shocker to anybody in this room. And I noticed when I made the comment about it's going to go up again next year, take it to the bank, it will. And the reason for that is because the county commissioners don't, back when I first took office, they gave us several vehicles. And we had it to where we were going to be able to, after so many years, be able to take those vehicles and weed them off before they got too high of mileage and started having to put more money into that vehicle. And so I've got officers, I might get buzzed a few times on this because I'm going to finish. And so what happens is I've got officers that are driving vehicles that may have 220,000 miles or something. Dale Class, I don't have any idea how many miles you have, but I guarantee it's at 200,000. But you've got officers that are on transports. We may, tonight, while we sit here, and I'm not going to make them say if we are or not, but Dale Class will probably be able to tell you if we had to get an officer to drive to the coast of North Carolina tonight to take an involuntary commitment. We don't have a choice in that matter. We have to transport them. And so those miles go up, and that's wear and tear on those vehicles. And so luckily this year we got 3 vehicles, you know, and that's, to many people, that's a big deal that we got 3 vehicles. That's nothing. We are so far behind on our vehicles. And I'm not criticizing our county commissioners. They tried to save money. But the problem is those are necessities that we have to have. And when you fail to provide those vehicles, the garage vehicles, the tow trucks are coming to get our patrol cars while they're responding to your house. And it's happened many a times. And there's a cost to that. And that's what we do.